Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Copy Run Live episode. I think it's 453. I'm not actually strictly sure that that's even true or correct, but I know that it is not far off that. So what I wanted to do today is just welcome you. Hello, Kate. Welcome you into a brand new week, a brand new hair, and there's going to be a whole bunch of really interesting things, shall we say, pan out over the next couple of days. And I'm really excited. But before we go into that, the first thing that I wanted to remind you of is SOAR starts today. So if you are not in and you're absolutely kicking yourself that you do not have a plan for the next 90 days, if you do not have a kick-ass, amazing, total badass, amazing community around you, then you should be kicking yourself and you need to be in the SOAR Collective. We have got so many awesome things planned out for the next 90 days. Mainly though, it's going to be all about you accelerating, ramping shit up so that you can soar into the future that you really want, no matter what is going on in this crazy ass world. Let's just be really clear about that. It is insane, the stuff that's going on. I actually think that we've slipped into an alternate universe or something. It's really freaking weird. Don't you guys think? I think it's really weird. I think it's really weird. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is this topic of, hey Jeanette, this topic of identity. And I think it's a really important one, right? It's really important, and probably most of the work that I do is really about helping people, perhaps like yourself, really remember who you are, what you're here to do, and to get out of your own freaking way, right? I think that's probably a one of the biggest things, because there's so much doubt that that kicks in, and we can worry about all of the things, and you know, it can really sidetrack a hell of a lot of people from actually showing up and doing the thing. So what I thought I would share with you today is a little bit about the identity piece that I'll often talk with my clients. And probably like where we start primarily is around them really kind of uncovering and remembering their confidence, their badassery, and just how freaking amazing you actually are. So one of the things that I'm curious about is, when was the last time that you actually really felt like you were a total badass? That you were totally amazing. Good morning, Judith. Happy Monday. Like, when was the last time you really felt like that? When was the last time that you really felt unstoppable? And when you think about that, I guess some of the things that I think about with that, it's more of a feeling, right? And it usually comes about because of a sense of achievement, of something that I've done. And that achievement can be it could be academic, it could be in business, it could be in my family life, it doesn't really matter. But I think one of the things that's really important is for you to remember, you know, when did you last feel really freaking proud of yourself, of something that you did? Then the other thing that I think is really important is to sort of like sit down and think about, okay, so, you know, what was we can go through all like the what were you doing and that kind of thing, but I reckon actually more important is the how were you being? You know, when did you feel just really amazing? And I think the thing here is, like, when we're being who we are supposed to be, everything kind of cosmically aligns and the right things happen at all the right times. And I think sometimes what can happen is that, I know that sometimes what can happen is that we can really kind of like peg ourselves on an external thing versus an internal achievement. So I'll explain what I mean by this. So you know that success doesn't come from only the tactical thing, right? Success comes from you being who you are. and you showing up in that way and being magnetic to the people that you really want to work with, the people who are just like, oh my God, finally, you know, somebody who tells it like it is. You know, a lot of people will put success to how they look. You know, so I saw a post actually today. I don't know, for some of you in the States, you might not know who this is, but here in Australia, there's a singer-songwriter by the name of Tones and I. That's her artist name. And she put up a post today saying something about the pretty people. All right, hang on. What was it? Tones and I think this is really important. It was a really important post for me, I think, to listen. So it said, last time, check this out. Last time I checked, good morning, Joe. Last time I checked, you didn't need to be pretty to write a good song, and it will be a cold day in hell when I join the club of women that have only gotten somewhere because of what they look like. Thanks. And I was just like, this is so important. So many people think that to be successful, you've got to look a certain way, you've got to be a certain way, you've got to do certain things, and whether they're like, regardless of whether it's in alignment or whether it's not, right? But the actual fact of the matter is that when you are really being you, it doesn't, you know, your beauty will shine through no matter what, right? It's not about the long hair. It's not about the things. It's just about whatever it is that you're doing, and it oozes out of you. Sometimes I do think that, I actually think that people who are living their purpose, people who are speaking their truth, people who are doing the thing that they need to do, they are gorgeous, they are beautiful, they are radiant, and it's like your soul kind of shines through who it is that you are, right? Everything else is just the trappings, yeah? So I think the big thing that I wanted to remind everybody of today is that, yeah, you know, you've got to show up. Yes, I do fully wholeheartedly believe in you putting your best foot forward, that your identity should not be tied into how you are. And this is something that like how you look rather. And this is something that I kind of done a lot of work on over the years, because, you know, the way that I feel sometimes isn't reflected on the outside, right? So it's kind of like that, how do you work that out? How do you kind of like measure that? How do you balance that out? But to me, it's like, if you are absolutely being who you are, then you will be attractive, magnetic, and you will show up for the people who really need to hear that today. So a lot of the things that, one of the big things actually that I've spoken to clients about a lot over the years has been around, you know, photo shoots and professional shoots and professional branding and this, that, and the other. And, you know, I made millions before having a professional photo shoot. I've made millions with having professional photos. You know, that doesn't matter. Having a beautiful, fancy schmicko website is not going to help you make money. It will, you know, it's about what you put into that, because you could have a really pretty site, but if there's no substance in there and if it's all shit, then it doesn't help. You know, gold plating shit is still shit, right? So it's really more about you just kind of going, all right, well, how do I best position myself out there to be seen, to be relevant, to be magnetic to my audience? Hello, Kellyanne. And the thing here is it's always about you being you. So the number of times that you've ever felt like you are not good enough, you are not pretty enough, you are not worthy enough, you're not successful enough yet, you're not smart enough, you're not popular enough, you're not this, you're not that, all of that stuff, I would very strongly encourage you to write all of that shit down, right? Because it is shit. Write it on a piece of paper that you can then go and burn. Go do a whole thing about releasing all of that stuff, because just because you wear a fancy jacket or you have a designer handbag, it doesn't mean, or not, it doesn't mean that you are going to get to where it is that you're going to be. Like, that is not the price of entry, right? The cost of entry, the price of entry into this elusive success club is you really just owning who you are in every moment and allowing your heart and allowing your soul to shine on through. And that's the stuff that's going to make you soar. It's not the latest tactic. It's not the latest, how do I optimize a Facebook ad? You know, it's none of that. That all helps and contributes because it amplifies your message. But if you're showing up trying to be like me or trying to be like somebody else who's on here, it's not going to work, right? You might get a little bit of short-term success for whatever reason, but it's not going to have substance. It's not going to be sustainable. So the thing that you've got to do is find your groove, right? Find your pocket, find your way, find the way that you can unleash all that is you out and into the world. And that takes practice, right? It can take trying on a few different jackets before you find the jacket that just helps you going like, bang, yeah, this is me, right? It can take, I ran into a lady, a husband and wife team actually, who really beautiful couple that live here in Mildura, and ran into them in the car park actually at the shopping centre on Saturday. And Judy said, oh, like Bruce was just watching you on LinkedIn. I thought, that's weird. But what Jen said, she's gone, you know, do you remember when we met Nicola? It was when she was selling jewelry down the markets, which was like 2005, 2006. And that was my first online business where I was selling all of the things online and wholesaling and selling at markets and doing all the things, taught myself how to build websites in that baby. But the thing that was really interesting that I said, like, it's kind of throwaway, but so funny and pertinent, said, yeah, it feels like 100 lifetimes ago, like, because that was shit, what are we now, 2020? So it's that 2010, oh shit, that's like 14, 15 years ago. And I said, yeah, it feels like 25 lifetimes and probably 25 personalities, right? Now, I've always been me, but I suppose that there's been different facets of me, but I really feel like the more I work on me, the more I really work on speaking my truth, doing the thing, not giving a fuck about what anybody else thinks or says or does or whatever, and just really coming back more into trust and coming from a place of certainty, I feel like more like me on a daily basis. Now, this is whether I've got my hair extensions in or whether I've got my tattoos, or like, it doesn't really matter, right? The more and more and more I start to let this stuff go and just really come back into who I am. And I think it's a daily practice, right? It's a daily remembrance of you really making sure that you're showing up, you're being the person that you're supposed to be. And that's really, you know, if there was a secret to success, if there was a secret to being magnetic, if there was a secret to making all of this stuff work, that's it. You know, being you and then combining all of these other things that we know work, you know, to amplify that. But it's really all about being you. And the more that you can do that, the more you're going to see fast success, faster responses, faster sales, faster audience building, faster everything. So just come back to being you. Remember who you are. Know, you know, you've got to remember and know intimately the things that you really value more than anything, and what drives you and where you're going and how it is that you really want to be and who it is that you really want to be. And that's really the secret. That's the key. So if there was one, which, you know, I don't necessarily believe that there is one, but that if there is one, I think that is it. And then combining it with everything else that you know. So that is my little reminder for you at the start of this lovely, lovely week and the start of our 90-day Soar Collective program, which I'm so excited about. You can see the link in the comments in there. So I am going to love you and leave you and wish you well to get about your Monday. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. There's a very, very large, big thing happening tomorrow morning at 11. I am very excited to share that with you. In the meantime, what do you need to do? You know what you need to do. You need to get yourself out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it, and remember that the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. I will see you tomorrow, if not before.